You actually had teammates that were actually doing what you were doing, where you were paying attention to the Strange and going ahead and backing up because you saw his position. So that right there, guys. See, like, an easy trap people get caught up in with these types of games is when they think of like clips and VOD reviews, they're always thinking of just things that are just montage bait, right? Like, oh, multi-kills and things like that, or big blocks and stuff like that. Pay attention to the small things as well, because it's actually the small things that are more impactful than those big moments where sometimes you hit Q and it worked out. Like, whew, you weren't sure, but it worked out. Because the smaller things happen more frequently. The smaller things take up more of the game. So look at this. This isn't an ability. No one's pressing a button on the team, but it's a move that gives you massive value and really makes the difference between winning and losing a match. So right here, Dom sees the Strange on high ground, no longer shielding his team. His Tenacity, the Moon Knight, sees it, and I think the Invisible Woman does as well. Dom already knows, okay, high ground, not shielding his team. It looks like this dude's about to jump. This is going to be an Eye of Agamotto. So because of the positioning of the Strange, you know what's going to happen before they even press a button. So where people are like, oh, how do people just know when things are coming and stuff like that? How do they know that things are coming before, like, you know, a voice line or some type of physical indicator? They're paying attention to positions and decisions that the enemy is making. If a Strange suddenly just drops shield and he's like running in, you know, at you, there's like a 50% chance he's trying to Eye of Agamotto. So paying attention to cues like that will make a huge change in the amount of deaths you get. That alone will probably like cut the amount of deaths you get in half. And any good hero shooter player who really understands this genre will tell you that the most important stat on that scoreboard is the deaths. It does not matter if you had 40 kills. If you had 40 deaths, you did garbage. You did fucking garbage. You know how hard it is to win a game when someone on your team disconnects? Losing one person is massive in this type of team-based game, right? It's still possible. There's like a small, you know, like 2% chance you can make it work, but you know how like 90+% of the time, it just automatically means you guys are going to lose? If you're dying constantly, you might as well be a disconnected player. It is that bad. It's that bad. Deaths are that impactful. If you're dying a lot, you might as well be a disconnect from the game, and it is a legitimate 5v6. All you're doing at that point is just being an ult battery for the team, and that's another important reason why deaths matter. It's not only are you not down a man, so you're down an entire role, a source of damage or a source of healing, but because you're not getting any value out of that person, and they're dying a lot. If they're dying a lot, that means the enemy team is getting value out of that person. So they're only doing 2k damage, but they've 10k damage blocked, meaning, you know, they've been shot at, because that's how the block stat is calculated. So they, not only was it wasn't even a 5v6 at that point, that was a 5v7. Stop dying. Pay attention to your surroundings. Pay attention to your positioning. Especially, you know, depending on your role, because depending on your role and the character within that role, you want to be positioned in different spots, right? So you see how they moved out of the way because they saw that? So because of that, Dom was able to bring back the only tank that they have, because they're solo tanking. So they're actually able to now, they burn the Strange ult and they're able to swing this fight coming back at pretty much like full health because of that awareness that he had. They didn't have to worry about like waiting for people to respawn, oh, kill time, because Dom also got Agamotto'd and killed. And because he got killed, he wasn't able to do the res. the res also got chaos. Because of Dom's awareness that the Strange was going to come down and ult, now chaos comes back and kills 3 of them. And now instead of having to wait an entire minute for everyone to come back, respawn, do the poke battle, then start getting picks on each other, and they might lose that fight. Instead of having to do that, which would kill an entire minute that they have with only 3 minutes left, now within like 10 seconds, Dom has basically like reset the fight, but not only reset it, but put it in their favor. Completely reversed the situation just because he pressed the W and D key on his keyboard. That's big playmaking right there. And when you start doing shit like that, that's when you know you're a good player and you really understand this genre. Dom, am I tripping, or did you already know that did you know like, right there that pose? Did you know he was about to ult right there? Yeah, okay, I figured, yeah. Yeah, because I saw that you soul bonded, and then I heard the Mr. Fantastic ult. I was like, oh wait a minute, let me play that back. I was like, okay, yeah. So another example of Dom paying attention to the enemy's positioning. He's seeing he's seeing the read kind of push up and go, you know, like gear secundo, you know. And so he goes ahead and he preemptively does the soul bond because he feels like there's a ult coming on. And so now that they're soul bonded, that's going to greatly decrease the chances of anyone on his team actually dying to this ult. Not that it's great in the first place, but you know, just kind of guarantees it. Well, I want you to also pay attention to like where and how Dom looks. And I want you to notice how he is paying attention to his team and the enemy team at the same time. Because that is one way that healer is the hardest role. Healer is the hardest role in the sense and in the context of they have to track more people than everyone else. They have to make sure they absolutely know where all other 11 people are at all times to be good at their role. And I want you to notice that like as Dom plays, he is spending an equal amount of time tracking the enemies and tracking his teammates at the same time. And he's striking a really perfect balance of supporting, but also not just being a brainless heal bot, because as supports, you are supposed to help out with the damage as well. You are supposed to chip in. And you notice that like he'll like take some pot shots, look at his team. If they're good, take a couple more, look back at his team. Oh, someone's low, snap, look back. Okay, everything's good. Take some more pot shots, right? Yeah, like heal botting is easy, but you don't just want to always do that. See how he's assisting with the storm? Boom, he was able to secure that kill. Goes right back to healing, you know, back to some more pot shots. Hey, see, so right here, so some of y'all might be thinking, oh wow, he was like really offensive there. Like for maybe like a good 10-15 seconds, you know, last 10-15 seconds, he was taking a lot of shots. He stopped like you know, healing and stuff like that. So here's an example of when you need to kind of kick into the offensive gear as a support. If your team has the momentum, you have a few picks on the other side, you guys are rolling them, and you've looked around and you know that your team is in a general healthy state, like health wise, then you could just go ahead and just help them go ahead and clean up these kills. Because especially in a third point situation like this, like on this map, for example, where they are, in this position, the best way a team can win on offense is through staggers, right? And making sure you burn through people as quickly as possible, right? Like you don't want them to, excuse me, not through staggers, the opposite of that. You don't want to stagger. You want to prevent the stagger. I was thinking about it on the defensive side for a second there. That was weird. So in this type of situation, when you have the momentum, you don't need to sit back, like not pressing buttons, like looking at your team, you know, just waiting for someone to get low. If you already have this momentum and you're snowballing, right? Look, his team is red. All the red health bars are good. So because all the red health bars are good, he can sit here and go ahead and help them clean up these kills. And also his support ulted as well. Actually, no, that wasn't his support. That was the other one. My bad. It's blue because I'm looking at the red team's perspective. My bad. But yeah. Like some people will sit there and they're like, I don't understand. I have a shitload of healing. What more could you guys need? You know, oh, you can't blame me because I have just a bloated 30k healing not factor. Think about Wolverine for some reason. I have a 30k healing figure. It's like, okay, yeah, you healed a bunch, but that doesn't mean that you were healing the right people at the right times. That doesn't mean that all the healing you did was even impactful, because you can sit there and try to heal up a bunch of chip damage, but it's like, if they're just chip, they're fine. You don't need to heal that up like that. You know what I mean? So it depends on, and this same goes for damage dealers. It's like you can have a lot of damage, but was your damage meaningful? Were you just dumping damage in situations where there's no way you could have got a kill anyways, right? So the same goes for that as well. Even damage block, it's like, well, did you block the ults? Yeah, you blocked a lot of the poke damage, but you didn't block a single ult when you could have, right? And some of those ults you didn't block lost us the fight. Context matters, not just the raw numbers. So right here, he's staying on the side. Dude, I love watching other players that understand this game. So yeah, I got you, Marth. So you notice they're coming down to the wire. They're in overtime. This whole time he's been aggro, kind of pushing with the team. But you know, ults are coming out. You know, the time's running down. The enemy team's coming in. He starts coming off to the right side here, because he's like, okay, things are getting hectic. He understands his role. He understands his specific role as Adam Warlock. If my team dies here, this is overtime. This is do or die. If they die here, I'm the only one that can actually do something about this situation. Let me get out of the fray, kind of come over here to the side where even if someone sees me, at least I'll have some cover to duck behind, and I'm away from the brawl that's on the cart. Because he's Adam. He's positioning himself for a preemptive res if he needs to do it. So he starts coming off in this little side pocket here, where he also has the cover of the cart from anyone who comes from that left spawn as well. And his team gets a few picks, so he comes out and then he helps on the DPS again, because now that they have the advantage, it's time to snowball. So he comes out and helps out with the damage. So you see, like he's not like doing something that's visually flashy. He didn't even press Q there, but he was playing that and carrying that so well in small and subtle ways that don't get enough like highlight. Like if his team had gotten fucked there, he already pre-positioned himself to be in a situation where he could swing that. Dom understands like the flow of the team fight. He knows when it's time to be, all right, let me be in the back here. Okay, I can go in a bit. Let me look at my team. Okay, I see that we got 2 picks on their team. All right, I'm gonna start going forward with my tank. They bent the corner. So I'm gonna still stay where I can see my back line, but also be positioned where I can, like, you know, keep an eye on my tanks, maybe take some pot shots if I need to, you know, watch both sides. Like he knows where to move based on the context of the team fight. And that's like the main thing that I feel like people miss when it comes to these games, is that they don't understand that this game, this type of game, hero shooters, MOBAs, you know, anything that's of this nature, there's phases. It's not just, a lot of people like to play these games like action figures when we were kids, right? They just, you know, they take the characters and they just smash them together and they just, like, you know, hope that they win, right? Yo, what's up, Kaboom? Man, not a problem, man. Hope you had a great rest of your stream. I'm doing like VOD review stuff and talking about like really breaking the game down right now. Dude, I think Mr. Fantastic is so funny. But yeah, what was I saying? What was I saying? I lost track of what I was saying. Shit. Oh yeah, the phases, yeah. Like I said, people like to just just do the team fight. Like, well, we're supposed to look at the enemy team and use our abilities at them, right? Like no, like that. That's not how you play the game. This is gonna be super, rudimentary. This isn't like a hardcore law. Do this all times at every times, but this is just like, a general good structural way to look at the hero shooter genre and MOBAs in general. So there's kind of like the pre-phase where you kind of position based off where you assume your enemies are going to be positioned before you have a confirmation of where they actually are. So there's that before you even see each other. You already think about where they could possibly be before you turn that corner and see them, right? And you move yourself and position your team formation based off of that. Then when you actually see them, there's a whole like, okay, identify. The first thing you need to do is scan the people that you see. If you only see 3, keep in the back of your mind, okay, I don't see 3 right now. I don't see 3 right here. That means that they can only be here or here. So then you check those spots, right? And if you don't see them, like, okay, there's probably a flank. Let me make sure I'm paying attention to my teammates. But in the back of my mind, remember, there's 2 or 3 people I haven't really confirmed where they are yet. So I'm going to have the precognition to kind of start checking my peripherals and be a little bit more aware of my backside, right? There's that. And then there's like the general poke, kind of like skirmish phase where nothing massive is happening. You're kind of taking pot shots, kind of like boxing, filling each other out. That's like the poke phase. And then there's kind of the phase where either a team kind of makes a hard push or someone gets a nice like isolated kill. And then that opens up the rush, then that's when it becomes like the action figure thing that everyone wants to do. But you see, the problem is before I even got to that part, I already talked about 3 or 4 phases prior to that. And what separates the good, or not even good, but what separates just solid players from people that are complete scrubs and heart stuck like bronze, silver. I'm not saying that like in a demeaning way. I'm just saying, actual scrubs, the heart stuck and like, bronze and silver. What separates them from like, why can't I get gold? Why can't I get plat? You're missing those steps before you get to mashing the action figures together. You're missing like 3 to 4 steps. And depending on the situation and the context, the map, if it's overtime or not, there'll be more steps inserted in pretty much all of those steps as well. So like there's layers to this shit, Positioning first. That's the thing that people new to this genre, or people that may not be new, but like it still just hasn't really clicked with them. That's what they're missing. Like positioning, man. Positioning and thinking about what your opponents want to do based off what they have, where they are. Like this. Dom knows, Tenacity knows, this motherfucker's about to ult because why would a Strange be right there? Strange is a shield tank. He needs to be in front of his team. He's the main tank. He has a shield. So why would he be right here on high ground where he could see all of my team? This motherfucker wants to ult. You gotta think about stuff like that. Don't just think, there goes Strange, me fight Strange because he's the enemy. Like, right? Bronze and silver and gold players, they'll sit here and like run towards the Strange and start hitting him simply because they see him and they be like, why not? Strange no shield. Me no see no shield. So me fight Strange, right? Like no! Think! Why would he be right there? Positioning is everything. Not only your own, but also that of the people you're fighting against. Dom knows there's only one reason why this motherfucker would be right here. So let me go ahead and move out the way. You see how they dodged? Bronze, silver motherfuckers, you know, would have been like, me fight straight. And then would have got ass blasted like Chaos. He's looking for big plays. You know, like, okay, here we go. Okay, ah, didn't work. Okay, we'll try again. Okay, okay, well, let's try again. And you're just seeing like this conveyor belt of this like looping 2D character like killing himself over and over again. And you're just like, brother, do you not understand what's happening? Like, so if you guys don't understand why you haven't been able to improve in this game, there's a very incredibly high chance that that one thing I just explained and broke down alone is what you're missing. So remember I was explaining earlier how about like, if you're dying a lot, you're giving the enemy team ult charge. You dying is literally killing the rest of your team, bro. Stop dying. And once you get to a point where you realize like, wow, I'm dying a lot less than I used to, that's when you know that the game is starting to click with you. There's still a lot more to learn. You're not fully there yet, but like you're starting to understand. That's when you'll know that you've reached a certain spot where you're like, oh, okay, I kind of see what's going on here. Once you realize your kills are consistently low. So think about it. If you're in a team full of people that have terrible positioning and they're dying a lot, that means they're getting shot a lot more often. If they're getting shot a lot more often, that means that the enemy team is dealing more damage more often. Because they're dealing more damage more often, they are getting their ultimates more often. So you sitting there just feeding yourself to the enemy team is literally rolling ultimates onto your own team. So stop dying, idiot. Whoever this applies to, stop dying. Stop. It is not okay to have a large number of deaths. You are literally throwing. Even if you have high E limbs, you are still throwing. You should not be like, well, I have 24 deaths but 24 kills. A 1-to-1 ratio is not good. It's not. 12 and 10 is not good. No, 15 and 10, honestly, it's not terrible, but that's not good. 15 and 10 is actually not a good score. You technically should not even have double-digit deaths unless it is a long game. Like some of those ones that will go like, well, like 13 minutes plus, you know, type deal. But like generally speaking, you should not have double-digit deaths. You shouldn't. You should at least have like I would say for like a good player, like a generally good player, not like on some pro top level type shit, but like a generally good player, you should at least have like a 3.0 KD. You should at least have a 3.0, meaning you should at least have 3 more kills than you do deaths, total deaths, like across all your characters averaged. You should not be at a 1-to-1 ratio. That's not good. Going even isn't good. It's not the worst thing. No, of course not, because of course there's always going negative, which is actually the worst thing. And everyone of course understands that is, but you can't sit here and like blame your team and fault your team and you're even. High evens, you know, if it's a short game and, you know, y'all just couldn't really get anything off and you're like 3-3, you know, like shit like that happens. So I'm talking about like, nah, this was a 20-minute match and bro, you're like 30 and 30. You should never have 30 deaths. If you get 20 plus deaths, if you get 20 plus deaths, you need to watch YouTube videos. And you need to ask for coaching. Like, people that get in the low teens, you know, they're more self-salvageable. They could probably like, you know, get it knocked out of their heads if someone just says like, hey man, you know, you're doing this, I'm doing that. Oh, okay, yeah, I'll stop fucking around, you know. And you know, right? And they can like turn themselves around and eventually become good players. But if you consistently get like 20 plus deaths, or you're no stranger to 20 plus deaths, there's you need assistance. I would definitely recommend assistance if you care. If you care about learning the game, getting better. If you're just playing this game for fun, you don't give a shit, just playing with your friends, having a good time, of course, whatever, do what you want. But like, if you're actually like playing ranked and you're like getting frustrated, you don't understand why you're like why you can't level up, or you really want to apply yourself to a hero shoot for the first time, you didn't really get it, like, yeah. Oh, the true assassination. Oh shit, let's see. Out the gate. Because this is a kind of short clip. That's a 1 minute clip. Dude, I don't think I've ever met an Iron Fist fan. Like someone who's an actual fan of Iron Fist from Marvel Comics, not Iron Fist in this game. Does no one give a shit about Iron Fist? I definitely don't, especially after that TV show. I didn't before, but I definitely didn't after that. No way. Hold on, my man's clean with it. Hold up. Let me roll that back. I like the stall. Ooh. And the perfect part though, nah, like the perfect part of that was honestly the escape too. Because not only did it look flashy, but it was also at the absolutely correct moment. Like, you know what I mean? Like that was genuinely perfect. And, I'm honestly glad you showed this, because this is actually a really good example of like a duelist or / DPS fundamental type of thing. One reason why, especially if you're mostly a DPS player, one of the reasons why you guys feed so hard and you die so much is because you are way too thirsty and your ego gets the best of you. Dom just did some sick shit, got a double kill, and then it go back, oh my god, I'm just the fucking main character of life, like, and just like into the enemy team and get himself killed. He got 2 picks. That's all you need. You won the fight. If you get 2 picks, you have effectively won the fight for your team. There is no reason for you to get a big head and try to go in for a third for the sake of le clip, so you can upload to your whack ass TikTok that no one is watching. Like, stop. You did your job. Good shit. Everyone acknowledges that that was a solid play. Now get the fuck out and join us so we can roll the rest of them. You don't die. They get less ult charge. And you get more ult charge because you don't charge ult while you're respawning. So if you're alive longer, you also get your ult more often. That is another reason why dying and deaths are the most important stat on the scoreboard. If you want to see who the worst person on your team was, 9 times out of 10, it's going to be the person with the most deaths. There are some games where like some healers just do not look up in the fucking sky for their flyers. There are situations like that, but generally speaking, the worst player is generally going to be the one that just consistently gets the worst deaths. If you get the most amount of deaths in like one game, like once a week, I'm not really going to say like you have a problem or something like that, but like if you do a 20 game run and you generally expect yourself to have like bottom 2 deaths, like, yeah, you have a problem. There's something you're not understanding or seeing about your positioning, and there's something wrong with your understanding of the game sense. Yeah, so like let me run through this. So this is an example. This can't apply to every DPS necessarily, because this is more of like a flanking, stalking play style. But you see, he's going up this wall. Remember those phases I was talking about earlier before you get to mashing the toys together? he's running up this wall because before you even see your opponents, there's a phase where you assume where they're going to be by now. So he's assuming that they just came through that arch, which they just did. The cap right there just came through the arch. And so because Dom knows that they should be at that point, he goes ahead and he scurries up the wall. He positions himself before he even sees where his opponents are. He positions himself based off where his general game sense tells him they generally should be. And so he puts himself in a spot where he can be effective, but also safe. And he's like, yep, they're there. He waits to see the majority of the team go through. He picks out the straggler. Loki's in the back line. So there is no one off screen to the top left that can shoot at Dom. Dom only has to worry about the people to the right that his team has already engaged further back. So he also is going to have that advantage of his team drawing at least some of that attention. So because there's no one behind Loki that can say, Loki, behind you, watch out, and start shooting him, that increases his chances of doing this assassination successfully. And because, like, sure, people can turn around and try to peel, because the two teams are already positioned to where they're kind of engaging in that poke phase, there's going to be some draw of attention there in that front line, which also increases the chances of this going off successfully. So he gets this really quick burst down on the Loki, and because he got that kill confirmed, and the only person that knows it as of this moment is that Magic. Because look at that Magic's dagger, right? They're engaged with Dom's team, like I said, right? Magic's the only one that's turned around. So Dom got that kill without taking any damage. He's going for the second kill because the kill is on the one person that sees him. This one person is low, right? This one person is at like, what, 35% health? No one is aware that Dom's about to fuck her shit up too. So this isn't like a greed thing. This isn't like, oh, I'm so fucking sick. This is actually like a correct, proper play. If you get a kill without taking any damage and without alerting any alarms, and only one other person sees you and you have the advantage on them, like, look at Magic. Magic looks scared for her fucking life. She's like, oh shit. Oh fuck, Loki, oh. I'm about to get fucked up too. And Dom has the absolute advantage here. So he goes ahead and is like, I'm going to clean you up too. Goes ahead and safeguards himself, which he needed to do so he can do this escape successfully. Right? So like, that's what separates good players from bad players. Some people just be like, whoa, he went in and did the cool thing. Like, no, he thought about this the entire way. There was multiple steps and decisions where he decided the path he was going to choose based off of confirmations that happened. All right, I secured this kill. I still got these cooldowns and I have good health. Because I have these resources and no one has really seen me yet, yeah, I could push some more here, right? And then maybe if we get a pick on the front line, then at that point I could push in because then there'll only be like 3 of them left and they're getting pincered, right? Decisions like that also help separate a good DPS from a bad DPS. Because like I said, most DPS is just like, I'ma shoot my gun. Oh, I died. I'm back. I'ma shoot my gun. Oh, I died. Like, stop being a bot. Think about what you're doing. Think about what you're doing. Like actually think about it. So a good way to practice this, because it's one thing for me to just tell you, hey, don't do this. Let me tell you how to practice and how to go about these things. One way to get better at not dying, you know, all the positioning stuff I said earlier, all of course, and all that. Every time you die, and I mean every time you die, I don't care if it's quick play. I don't care if it's quick play, ranked. I don't care. Every time you die, question why you died there. Think about it and think, was there anything I could have done in this situation that could have either prevented me from dying or at least delayed you know, me dying, because you want to delay your death as long as possible so you give your healers more time to react to the fact that you're dying, right? Carrie, you just need to just link after every bad game, just link them to my stream. They need to hear this stuff. Just link them to the stream. But yeah, and like the stall was intentional. And again, he knew he has the time sense. So he's like, he knows, okay, this team should be coming through the arch. Go up this wall here. They don't see me. They're not going to be looking up. Very, very brief moment where he would even be visible, even if someone was, right? Because he's hugging the walls. He's not like doing loose turns. He's doing like sharp cuts, you know, yeah, to like, you know, notice he's hugging like right here. Notice he doesn't make like a fat, wide jump. He's going damn near like straight horizontal. That magic had like a fucking millisecond to catch him. Very, very low chance anyone would have seen him there. Like that, the timing, the setup and timing on that was honestly immaculate and perfect. Like, I thought this was just gonna be like a randomly cool clip, but this actually ended up being like a perfect example of how to play a Flake Kick DPS during a time where I'm like breaking down the different roles. That's actually crazy, dude. Thank you for this clip. This is actually really good. And so like he sees them, okay, so he knows that the tanks, right? The tanks are going to be in front of the 2 DPSs and the healer. So he's thinking, okay, yeah, there's like 4 or 5 people here. So the 5 people, yeah, that are past me or going past me. So the last person to come out this door is going to be alone. But I can't just wall cling here. And I don't exactly remember, this is a replay. We see where the Loki is here because this is a replay where everyone's highlighted through walls. Dom hasn't actually seen the Loki yet. He doesn't know Loki is here, but he knows that there has to be one person coming roughly around this time because he's counting the amount of opponents he sees. So see, this is what I was saying with the phases earlier about how this is the seeing phase, where the first thing you need to do is identify all the enemies you can see and know where they are. Because information is power, and information is how you take a good engage. If you're engaging without information, you're not playing the game. You want some ooga booga shit. You're on some meathead shit. Stop. Knock it off. If I had some like newspaper or something, I smack the camera, but I don't. But like, stop. Like it's fine if you just want to have like a good time and stuff, but like even for quick play can't be enjoyable if you're just getting shat on the entire time. And part of the reason why you have quick play sessions where you just get shat on the entire time is because a lot of people play these team-based games with like just zero or negative regard to the people they're playing with, and they just want to ooga booga in, and it's like, bro, like it's really not the game for that. There's a way to play conscious-minded about others in a team-based game and also still just play casually and have lighthearted fun. It's not like it's this hard, impossible balance to do. Some of you are just assholes, or some of you are just way too self-centered, egotistical, like just, you know, like just, I can't say certain words on Twitch. You know what I mean? Like, stop being a fucking knucklehead. If you are, like, what's the point of hopping on a game only to just feed and you just keep going 4-20 and you never win a game? You know, like, just go play Call of Duty, man. Go play Call of Duty. Or just go play the deathmatch mode. Did you know there's a deathmatch mode? I think there's 2 of them now. I think that Doom mode, I think that's a deathmatch mode as well. What's the name of the deathmatch mode, guys? Change the playlist. It's there. If you just want to frag out and shoot things, hey, brother, have at it. There's a mode for that. Take it over there, please. Or go play it. If you want the game to be all about you and you want to be the protagonist, like Raz said, go play a single player game. There's options for that. Yep. So does that stall, and he's looking over there. He's looking over there to confirm. He's like, oh, okay, yeah, yep. They moved over there. No one is looking back, and I see my teammate is also over here, the Mr. Fantastic in this funny ass frame. So he has visual confirmation that his team is now engaged with the enemy team. So he's like, oh, the Loki don't know I'm here. Everyone's looking forward. It's mine for the taking now. And now he takes the booty. Look at him. Look at that. And then Magic's been chipped by his team. And Dom has the momentum against Magic with 350 health. And she's already low. And I want to emphasize that she's already low. I want to stress, this is not an ego play. This is not a thirst play. This is an actually calculated, proper play. And fun fact, you main character syndrome idiots, fun fact, proper play is actually sick. If you want to feel sick, play properly. This is a much cooler play, knowing it was thought about and calculated, than it would have been if it were an ego play. But if it were an ego play, it also wouldn't have gone down that same way anyways. The Iron Fist probably wouldn't have even scurried up the wall first. Probably just went in the front, in front of his tanks. And maybe just like move past the tanks, and the tanks just so happen to ignore the fact that he went back there, and then he gets a kill, but he's at 80 health, and he goes for like a full health Punisher that has a shotgun out because he just passed through the tanks and got a kill on a squishy that was bad at moving. So, oh, I'm the shit. I really moved past those tanks, and I really beat the shit out of this really bad support player as Iron Fist. I'm the fucking shit. I'm going to go get another kill because I got a kill. But it's like, bro, you're like half health, and now you're diving the Punisher who's already looking at you with his shotgun out. See, she's like that's the difference. And then this is another thing. This is kind of an aim related thing too. This is actually one of the first mechanical things I'm covering. Right here, because Magic jumps, Dom knows Magic is jumping here. So he knows that, oh, this is a safe time to activate my my flurry punches, because now that she's jumped, that character is set on a certain movement arc. So now he could just aim on the predictable jump arc and land more of his punches consistently. But also, he realizes, she's jumping somewhere that's also away from this fight. I've already got a pick. I'm halfway through a fight with this Magic that I'm trying to finish. I already used one of my sustain abilities, the parries. So, and look at the abilities he has on cooldown, right? He has 2 abilities on cooldown already, on 10 to 15. He's not getting them anytime soon. So he also decides to take this right here because he realizes I have a 99% chance of getting this kill because she set herself on an arc I can follow, and she's leading me exactly to where I would want to escape, because now I'm actually starting to take damage on my backside, and I can't really watch my backside now because I'm committed to this kill because it's highly in my favor. Not because I'm an idiot, not because I'm full of myself, but because this is statistically in my favor. Like, I have a 90% chance of making this an effective play, and it's safe. It's generally safe for me to go for, but it has to be this and just that. And he realizes that, and he goes for it. Lands a lot of his punches, confirms the kill, immediately gets the fuck out. He just, oh, I got 2 kills. No, I'm really the shit. And then he goes back in and potentially dies. You know, no, he makes sure he doesn't feed. Reassesses the situation, you know, make sure he has some space and stuff. Goes to a safe spot, chills. Get your head out of your asshole. That is a sicker play than anytime you press Q and got 3 or 4 kills, okay? A troglodyte can do that. Congratulations. Okay, you press the singular button. That's what ultimates are designed for. while I was out there grabbing my shit, I just thought of two more things I wanted to like talk about and break down regarding understanding this game. The first thing, and this isn't like super technical or nothing, but it's something a surprising amount of people never consider. But identify the worst person on your enemy's team and bully the hell out of them. Just kick them in the dirt. Ruin their lives. Because if you could just straight up effectively remove an entire player from the enemy team and just use them as an ult battery, you can make up for the bad person on your team who might just be less bad than the person that's on the enemy team that you're trying to bully. You see what I'm saying? If you're kind of struggling and you're like, oh man, like I don't know what to do, our swaps aren't working, check the scoreboard, see if one of their, or if you just paid attention to the deaths, just like see who's dying a lot, look who's always been out of position on their own. Like, wait a minute, this guy is always away on his own. He doesn't even have any self-sustain. We can actually just go kill him, right? Like, start picking on players like that and abusing the fact that the enemy team has someone that bad in the game, you know? But I feel like that's something that you have to have a baseline awareness of what not to do yourself as a player in the first place. So I feel like a lot of people may not be able to identify that yet, but look out for that once you stop being that player. You know what I mean? It's funny. It's kind of like that that part of The Last Airbender, you know, Aang's looking down at his ancestry. Like, you shed skin of yourself as a player. Like, that's how it should feel. Like, you should look at yourself from, like, you know, a month ago, and you'll get to a point where you look at yourself from just a week ago and be like, oh man, I can't believe I was like doing that. Or I can't believe I wasn't doing this before. You know, stuff like that. Like, oh, I was really one of those players, huh? Like, that'll happen to you constantly. And that's okay. That's a good thing. It's a good thing because it means that you're improving. And if you haven't like recognized past shells of yourself like that yet, then that's probably a good determiner of like, damn, am I at rock bottom right now? Like, am I really not like getting it at a baseline yet? Like, I would say like that's a good way to determine it, you know? Okay. So, first mistake. Harry is not in VC. And I know, this is gonna be a controversial part that never everyone is gonna agree on. But I want to include this in as a recommendation, as a very highly recommended offering. Join in VC. You have to give groups chances. And even if you're in VC, you don't have to say anything back. Just listen to the callouts. Get in there for the callouts, for the information. Callouts can literally make or break games. I have won and lost games simply because I have opened my mouth or someone on my team didn't open their mouth, right? Literally saying Black Panther on me versus being able to not say that and you just silently die in the back line. And the fact that if you said it, someone would have actually been able to turn around time and kill that Black Panther, keeping you alive, causing you to ult. That would ultimately help you get that point, right? Like I said, you have to think about the small things. If anyone starts flaming you, makes you uncomfortable, mute them. Mute them. But I would not suggest just auto having voice chat off and just assuming that every team you're gonna get is just gonna be full of pricks. You guys have seen my streams. I ran into wholesome people on fucking Mortal Kombat 1. I had some of the most wholesome Shokyo moments on MK1, and that's a game that is not known for its kindness when it comes to its community at all. But I have had like the biggest bro moments on that toxic game because I don't just auto block people and assume that everyone's gonna just be a degenerate asshole. You know what I mean? And then sometimes even when some of these people are, you keep talking to them and you just realize that they're actually just normal people that are just frustrated, you know? and you're like, yeah, you know, I've had days like that too, you know, like type shit. And you just like kind of have like a human understanding moment. All right. And of course, you're going to have those people like, shut up, bitch, or silence, Nick, you know, and all that type of shit. Of course. But for one, the information you're missing out on, and then two, the potential like homieship that you can create, and just like good vibes, like good team experiences, even on losses. Like, I feel like you are doing yourself a disservice and you're missing out on a lot of good experiences. I do understand why you're afraid though. I get it. Especially as a girl, I understand why, you know, a lot of girls would be reluctant to speak in VC. I get it. I've been there. I've witnessed it. I've always gamed with, you know, my girl gamer friends on, why did I say girl gamer friends? It sounds like I have friends that are black, but I'm saying it about girl gamers. You know, I've always been gaming with some of my female friends, like on my channel, right? That's not been a rare thing. Like, you know, there's been maulers, you know, over the years. There was Janelle, that random girl I met off of Overwatch, and we became a duo. You know, Carrie's always been in my streams. Curl's always been in my streams, right? Like, it's no stranger. I'm no stranger to that. So like, I've been around enough female gamers to know what happens. I want to make sure that's clear. I'm just saying, like, if you really are serious about climbing, I would say try to open yourself up to the idea of at least listening in. And then if you hear something you don't like, remember, there is always the option to just manually mute. You can easily do it in a millisecond the moment you die, you know, and you're good. You're back to your peace. Recommendation, I'm not saying that as a hard rule, but
Everything here is crafted from pure vibranium. One of the few metals you have no power over.
Do you truly see me as such a threat?
Quite the opposite.
like y'all have seen that. Y'all have seen me carry games, not even through my mechanical play, but you know those games where like no one's really talking in VC but me? Or maybe I get people talking in VC and I'm making call outs and like saying plans before we engage and stuff like that. Like, you can carry games through it's gonna sound like some Optimus Prime shit, but like, you can carry games through leadership and communication. Like, if you are really serious about climbing, and if you are a guy, like communicate, man, or at least listen in. For girls, I would recommend it, but like I said, I understand why you don't want to. I totally get it. I've dated, forget about the female friends that I've gamed with. I've dated gamer women. Like, I have been there. I've experienced this all. I've experienced everything. Trust me. I know what's out there, but there's some matches I'll be watching and I'm like, if that person had been able to hear that call out, that would have actually won them the game type shit, you know? Like, let's say someone says Iron Man to the left, and then a couple seconds later I hear maximum pulse, I'm pinning. Because someone earlier called out Iron Man to the left, and then I hear maximum pulse, the first direction I'm going to look at is the left, because that is the highest chance location where that Iron Man is going to be. As the penny, I could defend my team from that ult, so my team relies on me in this moment. Because one of my teammates gave me some prior knowledge as to where he would be, I'm now in a position where I can use my right click and block the Iron Man ult. The entire team was saved because one person said Iron Man's to the left a few seconds before he ulted. You gotta think about things like that. I wish they did save chat replays. As far as the chat, yeah. Call outs matter, especially if someone is low or one, or if the backline's getting dope. Another thing I'll see people do, even people that do generally communicate, one thing people could communicate more is who needs healing regardless of your role. Like, if I'm on tank, if I'm on DPS, it doesn't matter. If I notice that one of my teammates are low and it doesn't seem like my healers are paying attention, I'll say like, hey guys, our Groot is low. Hey guys, our Moon Knight is low. Like, help your teammates out. They may not be communicating for themselves. Like, there are so many ways you can carry games. Like, people think like, oh, to carry games, I have to get super turbo Acer X 9340 gigahertz max rig precision NVIDIA reflex mad gamer skills. I got a million hours in aim labs in my $1,000 gaming chair type shit. Like, no, you don't have to be a sick mechanical Genji motherfucker to carry games. You can carry games just based off of general micro awareness, just general call outs, doing small things like that. Like, I've noticed that, you know, our Hulk over there has been low for some time, and I see that both of my healers are alive. So let me push to talk. Hey guys, our Hulk needs heals, you know? And then, oh, boom, they heal him, and you could just prevent the death by just saying that, you know? Like, everyone wants to just like ooga booga get to the oh shit, almost dropped my food. I saved it. Everyone wants to get to the ooga booga. I just want to do super cool things and look cool and get mechanically better. And it's like they're not engaging with the core of the game enough to actually be good, you know? They're just ignoring crucial elements about it. And then that's why they're so egotistical, because it's like, some of these people will have sick aim and they will be mechanically skilled, but because their positioning is shit, because they don't know when to ult, because they keep going in completely alone, right? They get a lot of deaths and they don't get effective kills. They don't get the value that they should because they're not thinking. Consider where you are. Consider where the enemy team is. Consider where the people you can't currently see might possibly be. Consider where your team behind you is, right? Big thing. Oh, this is like, put this in the top 3. Like, if there's a 3 commandments of the like character team-based genre type of games, whether it's arena, you know, MOBA, shooter like this, whatever. Only 60 seconds left. Pay attention to the kill feed. And trust me, I get it. It's hard. I don't do it sometimes. And I kind of do like a mental, like, you know, dope, you know, whenever I'm like, oh, come on, man. Like, I know better than that, right? When I do it. The top of the top do it. So, like, don't beat yourself up over the head. You know, if you can't do that consistently, like right out the gate when you're trying to improve on that, because that is something that you won't ever just like have fully perfected. There's always going to be times where you accidentally catch yourself tunnel visioning and not really paying attention. But you guys have to watch the kill feed. The kill feed is probably the most important bit of information you can see within this kind of game, because that is also the information you need in order to make an effective engage. Because if you're blue, right, but you see that there's like 3 blue slots on the right side of the kill feed, you don't have to look at the names. I mean, you can to make sure you know which character died or whatever, but just look at the general colors. If you see a lot of your color on the right side of the kill feed, that doesn't mean pop ult. That doesn't mean go in. Right? If you see like 4 slits of blue on the right, that means 4 of your teammates just died. Why would you go in? Why would you continue to fight? 4 of your team is dead. There's only 2 of you. You see 4 people on your screen right now, and you can't confirm another 2 because you weren't paying attention anyways to the kill feed, right? That's how these people keep ending up 1v6ing. The kill feed is literally invisible to them. They legitimately do not pay attention to it. And they're always like, where's my team? I'm a super sick Iron Man. I real cool. I go in quick play and use the Hulk Gamma team up. And I get 32 kills and 7 deaths. And I'm gonna talk smack and quick play. I'm good. And he's hard stuck in gold. But he's gonna sit here and do the most broken team up at quick play to make himself feel better about his fragile ass ego. Because he knows deep down inside he's fucking ass, and that's why he's hard stuck gold. But he won't accept it, so he goes to quick play to flex on an easier time. Y'all know who the fuck I'm talking about. Anyway. Y'all can't tell me that exact archetype of player does not exist. The quick play Iron Man who thinks he's the shit using the Gamma team up. I know y'all have all experienced this Iron Man before. No one has said it until now. I'm like the first motherfucker to verbally say it, but we've all experienced it and wondered if other people have experienced it, but we've never talked about it. Like, I know this is a phenomenon we all experience. I know for a fact. They are so cocky, bro. Doing the easiest shit in the world.
What am I? Invisible?
Absolutely try-harding in quick play. Using some meta, top-level strat, broken shit that often gets banned in quick play against people that are just trying to have a good time. And you go 30 and 7, and you just think you're uber sick, but then you go into ranked, and you just like everybody else. But you can't stand that, cause surely it can't be you. You're super sick. You're much better than everyone else at your rank. Silver 2. You should at least be Grandmaster, but you're Heartstuck Silver. Like that doesn't exist. No one who. I need y'all to understand, this isn't an opinion, this is just a fact. This is reality. You have to accept this. And this will help you get over your ego, and when you go over your ego, you can get better at the game, which means that you will actually start winning more once you get over your ego. You have to accept that those types of gaps are not actually possible. If you are a Grandmaster level player, you would be a Grandmaster level player. And I'm not saying like by now, but I'm just saying like, if that's something that you strive for, that's not something that if you're playing like weekly should take you like 3 months to do. Like there's no platinum player who's like, I've been playing for months and I know I'm platinum, but I'm stuck silver 2. Like if you're in silver 2 for that long, it's like you're silver 2, bro. You know what I mean? People have to like be honest with themselves. You can give yourself like depending on who you are, you can give yourself like the next rank up, sure, but like usually you're not gonna be like, oh, I know I'm like two tiers up, but I'm just stuck down here. Like, nah. That generally doesn't happen. You should at least be 1 tier below your max. What you think your like theoretical max would be. You know what I mean? At your current level. I actually haven't done games yet. I've been doing VOD reviews. Hold on though. Let me watch the other one. I didn't really get to commentate that one much because I was ranting a lot. I don't know, I feel like the benefits of VC are worth the cons of being a VC for sure.
Heroes could make all the difference.
Like ultimately, you will win more than you gain for being a VC. That's how I see it. But you know, you do you. Everyone do you. Do what makes you feel comfortable. Sure. I just know I also wouldn't complain about being stuck somewhere, and I'm also not in VC or trying to communicate at all. Especially if you're not even a pinger, like at least be a pinger. If you're gonna be out of VC, not talking nothing, like, I can give you some respect for being a pinger. You're trying. You're trying to communicate. You're communicating. But if you just if you play in complete silence and you have the nerve to flame your team, eat a dick. Stop.
They'll be coming in 30
You're the problem. You have to understand you're the problem. I don't care what your stats say. You're a problem out the gate. Because even if you weren't the worst player, the fact that you're just completely cut yourself off from communicating at all, and you don't care to communicate, and you're basically playing in like single player mode, especially these like, you know, DPSs that just be, you know, doing their own shit like it's a single player game, like, you're the problem 100% of the time. You will never not be.
4, 3,
And until you can
1.
understand that that is the reality about yourself and a fact about yourself, that is the state of your current mindset in these kinds of games, and probably the way you play competitive games in general.
Our enemies are here.
Oh, we're supposed to be watching Carrie, my bad. Until you realize all that, you'll never truly get good. You'll always be a fraud. And you have a high chance of turning into that quick play Iron Man that uses the gamma ray. Like this fuck right here. Like this cheap fuck. This you see how it's in all these replays? You see, or was this comp carry? Oh, let me focus on the carry play though. I haven't done a tank VOD. I need to do a tank VOD because I haven't really broke down tank yet. But none of you motherfuckers play tank, man. There's no Vanguard players in this game. I legitimately had to get all the way up to Diamond 3 solo tanking like 80% of the time. It was crazy, dude.
Everybody needs a hit.
I had to solo take Penny all the way through fucking Platinum to Diamond. I didn't start getting second tanks consistently until I got to Diamond. It was insane. I guess I could do one of my VODs for it. Oh, this is comp? Okay.
I'm counting on you, friends.
I was gonna say, wait, why isn't Hawkeye banned? I was like, oh wait, man, yeah, the rank resets.
My life force is exposed.
My time to us against the world. I'll get you next time. I am due.
So normally, I want to make sure. I believe this is why Carrie did that. Even if she didn't like consciously think about it, I'm sure she subconsciously did. So in this position, when the enemy team is coming in from the back and there's pressure, you're getting shot. She does the proper thing. She goes to the high ground. She sees that Strange is the only one up here, and she was getting shot from the back. So she's keeping herself safe as healer, and also knocking off the Strange's advantage that he has, trying to do some fuck shit on the back line. This is actually a really good play because she's doing what a support should do, right? This is the difference between playing a Hillbot support and an actual true support. Like I was saying earlier with Dom's clips, how he assists in like the damage and the pushes and stuff like that. You guys need to contribute to your offense as well. And a good support play is a play where you're both keeping yourself alive, because remember, that's the most important thing you can do as support is keep yourself alive, and also simultaneously still support your team at the same time. She's doing two things at once. That is exactly what the role is supposed to be doing. Now, she gives up the high ground, but it's fine because as she sees that her team is in a pretty good position, and then she also has ult, so she's safe to go down into the fray, and she can go ahead and swing this. And now her team's getting kills. They got a res though with that beacon. The ult wasn't like absolutely necessary, but it wasn't a bad ult because it was an ult that served a particular purpose. That was like, yeah, it was a pretty good chance you could swing from there. Their little weak ass strategy was Strange, like, hey, I'm gonna go from behind, guys, and then you guys come from the front. Like, it kind of got fucked up because they weren't able to dive and pressure Carrie like they wanted to because she caked away and then went to the high ground, then went behind the barrier. So the frontal team couldn't see. No one came through with the Strange. So it was just like Strange is not gonna sit here and just insta burst a support Not unless he has, you know, some of his primary built up, but he just came through the portal from spawn. He hasn't shot anyone. So she doesn't have to worry about the burst. So she could actually sit here as a support and just bully him, right? That was completely safe for her to do. Like, that Strange was just stupid, and Carrie literally like slapped him on the head and was like, "You're stupid, get the fuck out of here." Like, like she sees that there's no one else there. It's just like, "I'm just gonna blind you. You can't see. Now you're scared." And he's thrown out bounds. He's like, oh shit. And he's running away, like, right? And then also doing that ult actually separated Strange from the rest of his team as well. I don't know if that was intentional, but just think about that. If you have an ult like this that denies area or discourages people from like walking in there, if you see people like separated on like two sides, that's another good opportunity to use an ult like that. Because I feel like one of the main things that people really struggle with is ult usage. You know, there's all types of players, man. There's some players that have kind of a decent game sense and they're mechanically solid, but then they're just awful with ults. Like, you know, like there could be sick players mechanically. They're just awful with ults. And you can be sick as hell, but if your ult usage is just ass and you don't really get value out of it, you're still throwing. Even if you don't do bad, even if you go like just a nice, humble, I don't know, like an okay 24 and 7, like that could be a good record, but that could be a record that you have and you lost that game, right? You had a solid, you know, KDA, you had some good plays and stuff, but you guys ultimately lost, right? And despite the fact that you had a good record, and despite the fact that someone else on your team could have had a pretty bad record, you used 5 ults and got value out of 0 of them. And even if you just got one of them to just work, if you just placed one of them well, you literally could have won the game at any time. That is ultimately your fault as well. One of the main things people have to realize as to why they're not climbing and they're struggling is that at times it kind of is you. It kind of is you. And I'm saying this as someone who was also new to hero shooters in this type of genre with Overwatch. This is an epiphany I had to have when I first started playing Overwatch. I was like, you know, my stats are fine and stuff. But then I started actually watching Overwatch content. I was like, oh, I've been thinking about my ultimates like the complete wrong way. You know what I mean? And then that's when I really started getting good at the game and really learning it, you know? Matt, you're doing good? You're doing good, bro? Hold up, I'm sorry. Y'all know what I'm saying. I'll get to that later.
4, 3, 2, 1.
My bad. All right. Okay, so Matt immediately seeing the Iron Man, which flyers are usually a nuisance on the corner starting there, trying to get early poke damage. So flying up there to just try to deter him to fly back earlier than he normally would. He doesn't have to kill him or even hit him, but just like pressure that airspace. Yeah. Backing up because he sees that the team is pushing in. Doing some movement to let his shield recover a bit. Try to make himself harder to hit. Come back down, use the shield. Doing what he can to like rotate his resources to try to sustain here. All right, now the cap is back so he can be a little bit more forward. He's watching his HP, trying to bend the corner so he takes less damage to give his healers more time to... Carrie, I tried to replay your match. You told me no. Okay, how about you give me a new one? Just give me a new one. Oh, dude, I knew Storm was gonna be broken the moment I saw those patch notes. So Strange really struggles in these situations. If you guys are tired of Doctor Strange and you know, oh, he's S tier, everyone's picking him, this is how you beat Strange. You take a bunch of fucking angles and you just throw shit at him. He's only good at protecting from one direction. He's not really oh, I'm splitting off this area type of tank, or oh, I can defend multi-directionally. You know, like if you take angles on him, you see Matt like moving that shield, panicking. Like that's Doctor Strange's like one major weakness that he actually has. These situations are very hard where there's just like people everywhere, and especially when you're in a solo tank situation. So he's just like, you know, taking all this chip damage. His healers are like doing their best, but there's just motherfuckers everywhere. That's how you beat a Strange.
I have unfinished business here.
All right, Matt practicing for when he gets home to his slaves. Okay, you know, always got to keep that warmed up.
We must and shall save the world.
Yo, what up, Ace?
Watch me
More
stop.
powerful yet.
They made it halfway. Stop them.
Wait a minute. Why? Wait, what? Hold on. What did they do? Okay, so
More powerful yet.
okay, so these people are fucking idiots. See, so the Psylocke thinks that she just popped off because she got 2 kills, but she also died herself, and they got killed near their spawn. They're pushed way up on their side of the map. So the 2 people she killed are going to spawn before her and be able to get back to the fight before she'll be able to. So she'll be like, oh my God, I killed 2. How did we not win? Well, the problem is that you went in alone, you killed 2 right outside of their spawn, basically. And so your 2 kills were useless because the kills in that type of spot aren't really that impactful. They can be in certain situations, but not as a general thing to just go and do. That was useless. Psylocke should have kept that either for the team fight or at least a little bit closer to when the team fight would start. They can still win this regardless, but I just want to point out how bad of a move that was. Like, Matt was relatively behind them. They should have waited for him to push up with them if they want to create some space and see if they can get some picks. They should have turned around and realized that he was right there, and he was trying to get to them because he saw that they were trying to create space. So he was trying to like correct their dumbass play and try to get in front of them, but they were too stupid to back up and realize that Matt was trying to support them as the tank.
Might be a good time to stop them. That's
Just tunnel visioning.
Your spells, mage.
Say Toby, okay. Toby. So you see Matt's doing the left click melee. For those that don't know already, it is optimal to do left click melee, left click melee. That's always going to be faster than just trying to do 2 left clicks. That's always going to be more damage. And it helps him build ult charge a lot faster too, because he proccing his damage more often. Okay, it wasn't for that long, but one thing I want to point out here. So this is where I'm going to start talking about like general tanking things. Like right here, he's really healthy, but the enemy Luna just popped the ult. The Hulk's coming in. He's anti-healed right now, right? So this is a pretty bad spot. There's a fucking whale overhead. Like there's shit popping off, right? He's at 200 health. So he runs back, puts his shield up, and gets behind the payload. If you're an aspiring tank player, when you get low, you don't just stay in the absolute front line until your dying breath. if you're on a payload map, use the payload as a shield to shield you while your cooldowns are down or while your shield is down. And it also gives your healers more time to heal you up. The payload is a natural cover, and the payload also heals you passively if you didn't know that as well. So it actually has double the benefit. Use it as physical cover when you get pushed like that. That's an especially like core fundamental thing you need to understand when you're solo tanking. There's no way you could solo tank if you don't do this. Like, this is an absolute like must. And see, he's able to get healed up and be protected because he chilled behind the payload. And now he can push up a bit more. He's low, he goes back behind the payload. See? Shield low, so using mobility to dodge. He's making sure he's cycling his cooldowns and abilities to benefit, you know, the use of the other. When his shield is down, he likes to use the glide to make himself more scarce, you know, move his hurt box so he takes less damage. And while he's doing that, the shield is regenerating. Alright, so again, just kind of like general, just basic knowledge of, you know, where I was talking about knowing where enemies are going to be that aren't exactly on your screen. You know where the enemy spawn room is. This is on, you know, the Yggdrasil map on attack. You know, they're going to be coming from where the left is. And he's going to hear an Iron Man ult. He didn't know where he was prior, but he knows that's a spawn room. It's Iron Man. Iron Man's a flyer. He probably came out the top portion. So he immediately knows where he is, despite the fact that he never actually saw the Iron Man. That's just like a common sense thing. But a lot of people playing tank don't have. They'll be like looking around everywhere, and it's like, if you're paying attention to the kill feed and when people die, you have a higher chance of knowing exactly where they are in situations like that. If you remember that Iron Man died recently, and you hear maximum pulse, you're like, okay, he died recently. Chances are this maximum pulse is coming from spawn, right? Like the direction of the spawn room. So he never saw him, but he figured he would be there based off of that information. Bro, what the fuck is going on? Hero shooters are so funny at times, man. Like, sometimes you just like look at this shit, it's like, man, this shit is so dumb. It's fun though. It's like, it's part of the charm, you know? All right, so they came out positive on that, so they're pushing up a bit. They're able to push up on Iron Man and get another stagger there. I think there's someone still in the back line. Yeah, so he's not exactly pushing up right now because he wants to make sure as the solo tank, he's also watching who that is in the back. So it looked like the other people were looking at the back too. Yeah, trying to float behind the payload. Oh, he gets there. Say Toby. Oh. Yeah, good job getting out there. That's perfect.
I am ready to put on a show.
Bro, why is there a Luna ult every 2 seconds? Oh my god. I actually haven't played on it yet. Yo, yo, that block? Yo, can we talk about that block though? Okay, so yeah, that shit was swag. So this is a skill you guys need to develop, and that's like quick scanning. It's okay if you want to like focus on a general spot, you know, somewhere someone's here, you want to push that, maybe you can get a kill or something, but make sure you're like scanning the corners of your peripheral. Because he saw the Namor is one, he sees the Iron Man, but the Namor is one. So there's no reason for him to immediately just be like, oh, I need to start shooting this Iron Man. I can go ahead and get a kill confirmed here probably. Can't get it because the Luna dips over to him. Good awareness by his Luna. Matt actually did the right play there. The Luna was just aware of what was happening and saved him. But because Matt made that quit dart and like made notice of that Iron Man, he's not looking at him. He was completely focused on killing that Namor. But because he took note of where the Iron Man was prior, he knew to do this flick. Because he remembered he was right there. That was that shit was swag as hell, dude. That was clean as fuck. And you see how the things I'm saying apply to all of the roles, and it applies to them in their own unique ways. This is why on every role, regardless of who or what you're playing, you need to make note of where your opponents are, because you want to play depending on where your opponents are at, not depending necessarily on where you want to be. You can exert that once you roll an advantage, or it's just clear that you're just gonna blow these motherfuckers out. Sure, you know, a huge skill gap, but generally speaking, you just don't want to go into a game just, you know, thinking like I'm just want to press W and fight type deal. Like it doesn't work that way. You have to play off of what other people are doing. You can't just sit here and play by yourself. You're literally not playing the game. That was a good kill.
Double kill. I am ready to put on a show.
Maximum pulse!
Disappear.
You see, every time he hears an ult, he's reacting to audible stimuli. Some of y'all don't listen. I feel like some people are so focused on like, I need to aim and to focus on my aim so hard. It's like they kind of mute out game sounds and stuff, and it's like they don't register the fact that ults are going off. Like when they think about it after the fact, it's like, yeah, oh yeah, it did go off, but like in the moment, it's like they don't really register it because they're just so focused on like trying to be mechanically good. Like you have to listen. You gotta listen out in these games too. And again, Iron Man, a flyer, so he doesn't have to scan the floor. If it's a flyer, he's the one who's going to scan the sky, you know? Like, let's say you hear Behold Darkchild, you're not going to look forward or in the air if you hear Behold Darkchild. If you hear Darkchild, the first space you should look at as a tank is behind, because Magic is a flanker. Based off of the information of the character and, you know, what the character is, how they play, that can eliminate, you know, the amounts of things that you need to think of. Honestly, this shit is honestly like fighting games. Like for like, I think that's why I play hero shooters and fighting games, because they're the same shit. Yeah, he died. Yeah, like you know what the hell? Stop recording. You know how in fighting games there's the whole mental stack, and the more mental stack you put on your opponent, the more advantage you have, and the more mental stack you have, the slower you're gonna be. Like this exact same principle applies over here on hero shooters 1-to-1, completely. Yeah, you just have to think about everything in terms of like step, while at the same time parallel like in step and by priority. And once you're able to meld those like perfectly together, where you could immediately understand what your priority is and what the proper, like which step that you're on, like within like the phase of the fight and, you know, stuff like that. Once you're able to like meld that together and get that working in tandem, that's when the gears really start going. So like the reason why some people, if you played a match where you're like, oh, I just can't get through, I can't get through to that point. Matter of fact, hold up, I have a game. that I remember I can show of that, unless I've played too much where it's gone. That's it. Nope. Move, Marth. Goddamn notification. But these are quick matches. Royal Palace. Yeah, this one here. Yeah, so if you've seen people with like high kills, so you're like, I assume they're good because they have high kills, but why do they have so many deaths? It's because they don't have fucking game sense. Oh, I didn't even get into like cooldown management too. And ultimate tracking, yeah, there's ultimate tracking. You guys also need to start the entire time you're playing a match, what you should be doing, whether it's quick play or otherwise. Pay attention to the frequency of when ults get popped. So the entire time you're like, okay, I'm looking at my team, making sure they're healed. I'm looking at the enemy team, make sure I don't get flanked. Okay, I'm watching my positioning. Okay. The Luna ult went off. Okay, so she gets her ult pretty fast. So there'll probably be another ult in like 2 team fights. Okay, keeping that in the back of my mind. Okay, watch my position. Let me make sure I look behind me. Oh, my healer's low. Let me heal him. Okay. Oh shit, you have to be like doing all that shit at the same time. And also be paying attention to the ults that your allies have, and you're also watching the kill feed. You're watching your team, you're watching the enemy team, you're watching the kill feed, you're tracking the ults of at least 6 other people. If you're really, really good, you could track the ults of everyone in the entire lobby. You'll really reach like nirvana once you could do all that, and you have your cooldowns on like a natural, like time sense level. Like you don't necessarily have to always be looking at them. Like you just know when they're gonna come up. Once you have that natural rhythm down of when to expect abilities, and also reading your opponents, knowing when your opponents are going to do certain things. For instance, if Dom is Iron Fist and he's like diving a Mantis, he doesn't want to just like dive the Mantis and immediately parry, because when he dives in, the Mantis might not even be aware that he's there. So why do his parry first, right? He could get some damage first. She turns around, call out when she's going to do her sleep, hit the parry. He invalidated the parry, and because he was thinking about when his opponent's cooldown was going to come, the use of the ability, he was able to go ahead and secure that kill. Like, you got to think about shit like that. All at the same time. And like I said, tracking the kill feed, getting a rhythm of how fast it takes characters to get to the point. Because don't be like, oh, Spider-Man's down, I have 30 seconds. Because when Punisher was down, it took about 30 seconds. No, Spider-Man spawn time feels like half the fucking time, because he can immediately get back to his team. So when you pay attention to which particular characters are dying too, if it's a Magneto that just died, that's way more valuable than like a Mantis dying, because a Mantis could just sprint back to point, right? A Magneto's going to take a long ass time to get there. So make sure you're not treating every death as like the same amount of time that you guys have an advantage on either. Like pay attention to not only the types of characters that are dying, but also, do those deaths even matter? Like how down are you guys right now? Because your team could have just gotten 3 kills on the kill feed, but there's only 2 of you left. And then the other 3 remaining people on the enemy team are full health. So it's like you're dead anyway. So those kills didn't matter. You know what I mean? Yeah, and this is before we even get into character picks and stuff like that, but I'm kind of teaching this game from a like very beginners. This might be your first, maybe first 2 hero shooters type of thing. I don't really think you need to worry. If you're like bronze, like Hearthstone bronze, I don't really think you need to worry about characters like that. Like, would it be helpful? Sure. But I feel like if you just understand the simple concepts of like, hey, don't stagger, group up, go in as a team, make sure you're aware of where your team is. I feel like if you did that consistently, that alone could probably get you out of bronze. you know, and if you're like telling your team to do that and they're actually responding, that should get you out, you know. Like I would say if you're hard stuck bronze, you're dying way more often than you should. Maybe you strive to not stagger, but you still kind of, you know, accidentally do. I feel like a hard stuck bronze is like definitely like just kind of like a positioning issue and timing issue, not really paying attention or minding cooldowns type thing.
Capture the mission area. Time for some fireworks.
Like you haven't caught like on to the fact that there's all these things you need to be monitoring at the same time and how they impact each other. Because like it's like too overwhelming at the moment. But like once it clicks, guys, it's so satisfying and it's so easy from that point forward. I promise you. And then it just becomes even more tantalizing to play. So this is kind of where this match really starts. We just could not get in here. This isn't really good push as like Penny Strange. We're kind of struggling. And then we also have like Mantis Loki as the heals. So the heals aren't that powerful and they clearly are outnumbering us on the poke game here. So I completely leave that crusade over there to the right side. That's not working. Notice I identify that something's not working and I change something about it. So I decide to take an off angle by myself, and you know, naturally a tank going off by themselves would be a bad thing, but because I'm Penny, I'm playing to my strength of being Penny. I nest up in a room where there's only one way they can realistically get to me. My team is over there to the right. They can't just swim through them. They gotta come here. If they go through the back, that'll be super long, in which case they're removing themselves from the equation for like a good 15 seconds. So I take an off angle here. I don't have to do anything fancy or get kills. I'm just harassing them, creating some space, putting web on the point, getting the Thor to come up. And this whole time when the Thor is coming up, hold up. This whole time where the Thor is coming up, see, my Strange sees that the Thor goes up, he starts coming in. The frontal assault wasn't working. I took an off angle. I split the team's attention. That split allowed my Strange to actually go in, push up, and actually get a pick. Don't just, like, as tank, don't just sit there like, I'm standing in the front, I'm tanking. Come on, guys, my shield is up. Do something. Like, that's not tanking, okay? That's not tanking. That's fake tanking. You think you're tanking, but that's not, okay? Tanking is making space, creating plays, moving your team, pushing. Think about like, I don't know, like a piston or something on a pivot, like a pole that's through another pole, like a horizontal pole that's inside of a vertical pole, and two people are holding it on both sides, like an oar, right? Almost like a teeter-totter. You as a tank need to be moving and try your best to move and position the enemy's tank, because when you move and position the enemy's tank, you're moving his whole team. If his team is bad, his team is not going to move with him. They'll just be forward. And if your team knows to stay behind their tank and their team doesn't, that's a good example of how someone just missing something that simple and fundamental can make the difference between being hard stuck bronze or not. You know what I mean? Guys, when your tank moves, you move with them. Now, obviously, you need to use dispersion. There's going to be exceptions to a lot of these things. Like, if your tank is just feeding, going around complete corners by himself as like Doctor Strange or something like that, deep off in the cut, of course don't save that dumbass. Let him die. All right, so I'm not saying get him for that, but like, if your team has already gotten a pick or two and your tank is going forward, please, for the love of God, move forward with your tank. You don't have to be breathing down their asshole, but definitely move in a, a moderate distance to them where you can heal them, but you're still not like at the forefront. Like, don't let them push in on their own and then they die and then you're like, why'd you go in? Well, they went in because your team got 2 picks, but you weren't looking at the kill feed. So you didn't even acknowledge that your team had an advantage. So it didn't even occur to you to move with your team because you're probably sitting there questioning why your team's moving in the first place because you haven't registered the fact that someone has died. You know what I mean? But oh shit. Let me go back to me. This is supposed to be a self-VOD review. Hold up. See, look, I'm skipping out on myself. Yeah, everything you should do should serve a purpose. Another thing. Oh shit, hold on. Because I want to go back to where I left off. Yeah, so I think this is when the Strange start coming in after this. Yeah. So up here, there's ults going off. We have our ult, they have their ult. I'm staying on the high ground because there's no point of me going down there. I don't want to feed ult charge. I can go down there and live no problem because my Mantis is ulting, but why would I? Me going down there wouldn't make any difference. No one is going to be dying right now, you know? So I just stay up here for the meantime to kind of assess the situation. Kind of wait out, you know, the ult and whatnot. Then once I'm timing and waiting for the Cloak and Dagger ult to go away and all that shit, and because we don't really have a disadvantage here, I go ahead and drop down and create space for my team.
By the eye of Agamotto.
And then that space I created scattered their team, which allowed my team to come back in and just pick them off. They weren't really able to support themselves right there. One thing a lot of people will do that are like stuck in low elo as well is again, like y'all do things for no reason, because most bronze, silver, gold, probably half of plat players would just drop down there and just be like shooting around for no reason, you know, and like no, there's no reason to be down there. You can just stay up here, guarantee that you'll be safe, assess the situation. If your team like loses here, doesn't get an advantage, you're safe. You can run back and you don't feed. If they get an advantage, you could drop down, or if you think that you could provide an immediate advantage here because you have ult, you also have the option to do that, which is the one I chose. Because I saw my team was kind of getting pushed back a bit, but we were alive and relatively healthy. So I dropped down, split their team, and scattered them, which allowed my team to come back in. Okay, I'll watch that. And right here, I'm doing the same thing I did on the other side. I'm just like poking their backside. I get the Rocket res beacon. So I'm denying Rocket a lot of his value. I'm just sitting up here because I'm hearing all the ults going off, right? There ain't no reason for me to be down there. Nothing's gonna die. And then, so I eventually go down. So yeah, I stay up because I hear all the ults. And I'm watching where everyone is, and I notice everyone is clumping over here. You see, no one is even on the point at this point except the Strange. And I see the Rocket here in the back line, and this is on the tail end of the ults. So I'm like, okay, everyone's kind of brawling up there. My team is kind of pushed back there. No one's watching the healer. So let me go ahead and do this. Put some pressure on him. Take him out. What? The Thor has to turn around. Now that the Thor turned around, you see where my Mantis is? My Mantis was right in front of the Thor. Because I just sat there and dove on that Rocket. Now my Mantis isn't pressured. And now this Thor has to deal with me, but he's gonna lose because my support's right there, and I have 2 boys overhead.
It just wasn't your day. You're up, little one. Control lost.
And I'm doing this with Penny, so you can definitely incorporate this with
This is gonna hurt.
most tanks. I would say like probably no tank angles by yourself with Magneto, no, or Strange, no. But like any tank with mobility, like yeah, like Like, take angles, pressure them from different spots. So, remember, ults do carry over into the next round when you're on domination. But this is a 99, 90, 97 situation. I know they're going to portal in. They may be coming in with something hot. You know, one of them may have an ult. This is overtime. I'm going to go ahead and guarantee. And I try to wait to do the ult close to when I, hear the portal and I see them coming in. So I just go ahead and I just seal up the point. So it's like they can't even really safely contest. So they just immediately come in disadvantaged. And then we had more ult anyways. So we're just able to go ahead and confirm that. I think in this round, I don't get as many kills, but I'm like hella harassing them the entire time. Is it a tank game, by the way, Chaos? Yeah, and guys, you'll be surprised just how much people don't pay attention. Like, don't underestimate the stupidity of the people that you're playing against. Like, once they show you they're going to be aware something won't work, of course, like, don't do that, or at least not against that person. But definitely go ahead and, like, litmus test people. If you're going to be like, oh, no, I'm not going to go to the high ground because they're going to see me up there and shoot me and I'm going to be alone. Like, no, go there first and see. You'll be surprised how people will just not look up. You could just sit there as hella and shoot at their rockets and lunas, and they'll be sitting there begging for their teammates to turn around, and they just won't. And you could just get, it's like fish in a barrel. You know, like, don't underestimate the incompetence of your enemies. And like I said before, like, exploit the weaker opponents that you notice on your enemy's team. If you see someone playing with like 0 game sense, tell your team, hey guys, let's fuck up this Loki because he's kind of always just running off in our backline by himself. Let's turn around and kill him, and then just run up on his team, right? And then you just keep killing that Loki, you know. Y'all remember a few streams ago? Hold on. Y'all remember a few streams ago where I was talking to my team and I was like, you know, this Moon Knight is never fighting without like a flank without his Ankh. He's never fighting without his Ankh. His Ankh goes away and he disappears for like 15 seconds. Remember when I said that? And I was like, all right, guys, if we want to win this, all we do is ignore the Moon Knight. And we ignored the Moon Knight and literally won. Like, that's another example of what I mean, because you don't even have to kill the bad player over and over again. Some people are so bad, they literally lose value by being ignored. I literally told my team to ignore him, and we won through ignoring him. Because I identified him as absolute dog shit. And because we completely just erased his value that he had being in that game, it was essentially a 6v5. Like, they trusted me, and that Moon Knight legitimately ran the fuck off until he had both Ankh cooldowns up at the same time. Because he was that fucking skillless. Yeah, loss of presence is like the worst you can do. Like, that's the only other thing that could even potentially be on the same level or possibly worse than having like a high amount of deaths is, like, sure, you have low deaths, but it's like, bro, like, they didn't have to kill you. Like, that might be worse. Like, we literally ignored that dude and won off of it. You have to be insanely bad to have a team do that to you. Going back here, getting this Black Panther off my back line, trying to confirm the kill on him so I don't have to worry about him anymore. He's fucking me up with a hammer. Gonna CC him real fast. We get the kill on their tank, so we have 2 tanks to their 1. They're backing up. Oh, we killed the other tank. All right, so we won that first team fight here. So I know that a lot of people are going to want to come out this window here. So I'm going to put down my nest, put a web to it to connect the arachnomines to that. So if they peek out in that window, because I know they have a Hela. Helas love to sit up in that window. If she peeks out of there, she has to deal with getting fucked up by the mines. Now, I set this up for later because a lot of Penny is like, you know, prep and whatnot. But my team was like pushed up because we just had momentum and we're rolling them.
Behold the
apply some pressure here to their back line, just being annoying. And this shit is really funny. I get all up in their face. The Thor drops down on my nest because, like I said, that's a popular drop spot for people, as is this other side. And I'm just sitting here, just harassing the squishies. Like this Mantis isn't able to heal her team right now, you know. And then I see that Hela is shooting my team, so I start trying to put a little pressure on Hela. I put some mines up there on the wall just in case they try to, like, you know, they take the jump path and go up there to the mines. You see them going off up top. Like I'm like jumping in their face, like blocking their shot, basically. Like I'm not allowing them to do what they want to do, and they can't exactly really deal with me because I'm in my webs. There's mines everywhere, and I'm hopping around, and I have my F if I need to use that. Like it's really hard for me to just get insta killed in that kind of situation. And one of their tanks is forward, one of their tanks already died. They didn't really have that many options there. So right here, the reason why I dip over to the side, hold on, go further back.
This is gonna hurt.
Dude, that jump pad is fun. Dude, I started doing some dirty penny shit, man. Like, I got to the point where I'm like, oh my god, like I'm fucking annoying. And I don't usually think of myself like that, like when I'm playing games, but like this is one of those games where like I'm being fucking annoying. But it's like but it's like so big brain at the same time, so it's like you can't help it. But yeah, like Strange isn't in front of me and the team is ulting and I'm Penny. So like I'm just gonna get over here so I don't just eat a bunch of fucking damage, you know, web to get some pressure off me. Come out with the ult just to make sure I can get out of that corner alive. Like optimal Penny play is being irritating. I'm like, oh no, dude, like don't get me wrong, like I know Sombra's annoying, but I feel like I've been more irritating on Penny than I've been on Sombra, honestly, and that's kind of crazy to say. Like that match there, realistically, how would they have pushed me out of that situation? Like, assuming that the rest of my team is halfway confident, like, how would they actually deal with a rotating floating Penny that has the F at any time, nest below you, connected to the 2 exit points to the point you want to get to? The only option is the farther one that makes you come out in a funnel, which makes you easier to deal with, right? Like, what do you actually do there, you know? I think they would have to have swapped up that comp. Even then, I wouldn't know off the top of my head like which one to swap to. Chaos, you said you wanted me to watch one? Was it a tank game? Dude was playing Loki like Sombra? Was it successful? You can low-key do some Invisible Woman as Sombra. I don't know if it's good yet, but you can. You think it's DPS and support? How many tanks did I do? I did like 2 tanks, right? I guess we can, yeah, rotate back to one of the other ones. Which ones are they? Yeah. Yeah. Man, like I'm so thankful for this game because like the stuff we're talking about now were the things that we used to like talk about Overwatch and like why we liked Overwatch, you know what I mean? and then they just kind of simplified the game and just put in these like easy baseline heroes that were just like baby easy to play, but were also like S tier for no reason. So it's like, damn, like skill doesn't really matter here. You know, they removed a lot of skill expression from characters. Like playing this game again just really highlights and imprints just how like dumbed down Overwatch became, dude. Like, fuck. Like the comp possibilities in this game, like, scratch my brain. Like it feels nice. Like there's so much. It feels like there's endless possibilities. Overwatch 2 was so stale. And comp, which ones? Clintar. This one right here, 5 minutes. You were hella. 1 and 4. Oh no, brother. This one. Yeah. I wouldn't mind if they buffed her damage, but I'm only saying that because I would actually love to play as like a spy kind of role type of Invisible Woman. I think that would be so sick to play, but maybe that's just because I miss Kips from from Concord. That character was so fun, dude. That was the most fun invisible character I played. 15-1. 15 in comp. Oh, 16. This one's 17-12. Wait, who Dolph say that to? Okay. Playing Widow?
The right heroes could make all the difference.
Digger donuts? Why is that? Yo, you had Digger donuts? That's crazy. That's my boy. I love Digger donuts. And you have U.S. Mon Pierre. People's names are just, they're so random. 4-inch pounder.
Friends call me Mark, or Steven,
Oh shit.
or Jake.
Chat, am I immature? Am I childish?
They'll be coming in 30 seconds. Stay strong.
Science alone.
Wait, Chaos had 12 deaths this game?
Battle, Steven.
I see. Are there any other means you consider worthy of exploration? Something beyond your many areas of expertise, perhaps?
You're really gonna make me say it out loud, aren't you?
You have no
The
idea.
battle starts in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You have to stop them from securing the mission area.
This may be one problem I can't solve through brain power alone.
A shortcut through space.
Hold on. So good shooting at the nest. Not that was too big of a problem, but I really would have just ignored the Groot. You know, coming through a portal as a flanker, and especially one that has the burst damage of Psylocke, I'm not going to be really looking to engage with the tank. You know, I'm just going to be looking for the squishies. It's fine to like do some chip damage, like threaten him, like, hey, go away type deal. But at the very least, I wouldn't spend a cooldown on him. I just kind of make note of where he is, get away from him, and try to just put some pressure on the squishies. But you didn't spend that much time on him, and it's fine. And it's fine that you shot the Penny there because you saw that she was low. So that was good target prioritization. That was correct. Unfortunately, the revive station was right there in plain sight for everyone to see, and no one shot it. So that cleanup was useless. Yeah, so that was bad. Yeah, you know why that was bad, right? You know why that was bad, right? Okay, okay. For those who may not know, right? The Groot wall is right there. He sees the Bucky peeking out. The Bucky can only shoot in one spot. And he goes directly in that slit where it's like, of course, Bucky is going to be attacking from right there. So that's one of those situations where it's like you have to be mindful of where your opponents are and let that determine where you want to be. That's a really good example of not considering where your opponents are. You're just thinking where you want to go. Gotta take where your opponents are into consideration.
I don't step aside.
Yo, that was fantastic behind the wall. That shit was funny. Oh, he grabbed y'all. Oh, he got buff. Oh.
Step aside.
Okay, so good job not being thirsty there. I feel like most people will probably be, oh my god, he's low, I'm a DPS. But Chaos rightfully, he had awareness there. He sees that his team, they're all right there looking at him. Like, Chaos sees like, this nigga is clearly supported. Like, he has the whole fucking Democratic Party back there all blue, like posted up, looking straight at Chaos, and Chaos is in the front. Like, so he's like, oh no, he got that. Like, I can't get that kill. Really, really bad play, like hard stuck bronze and like silver motherfuckers. They'd definitely be like, you know, it was blood in the water shark type shit. Like, oh my god, he's low. Oh, I have to be the hero. I have to be the MVP and go in there. Pay attention. Pay attention. His whole squad is literally posted up. They look like some fucking JoJo's characters. Look at Groot. He's literally doing like a JoJo's walk up there. Look at him. But he didn't revert that down. Yeah, shit. Yeah, they didn't need that. They did not need that. So he sees someone else over here who's trying to get an off angle, so he pressures the Hela instead. That was proper play. It's fantastic. Being bold coming into the room there. Honestly, should be dying. Hopefully they get this pick. Someone on that team did not respond. Assuming someone said Miss Fantastic is low. Someone did not respond. But it looks like your Miss Fantastic went in there to finish him off, but he did it desperately, so he sacrificed himself. So that's one of those examples of being so greedy for a kill. The kill you get doesn't matter. And you'd be, oh my god, I got a kill. Where's my team? It's like, bro, you dove into the middle of the team to do that. We didn't have the advantage. At that point, you back up. Like, if someone who's low has returned to the middle of their team, don't dive into the fucking middle of the enemy team to try to finish them. Just let it go. You not dying matters more than you getting a kill you could just get later. It's fine. You can win games through not killing. I'm not saying intentionally don't kill, but I'm sure you guys have seen like stat boards and maybe some in the games yourselves where you lost, but your team had way more kills than the enemy team, right? Like they had a lot more deaths. You guys were like murdering them, but you still lost. That's probably because like they were playing the objective better. And y'all weren't paying attention. You were just fragging out. Oh, I'm so good. I'm mechanically skilled. How did we lose? I'm 50-2. It's like, yeah, you're 50-2, but none of you were ever on the payload. So all that space you're making didn't matter because it was moving slow as molasses. Yeah, you're getting a lot of kills, but a lot of those just came from you when you were staggered and you came in and picked up someone else's, you know, low health targets, and then you die, and then your team goes in, they die, and then you go in and you die, and you guys are never together. And like you're getting kills and you go in, but you're ultimately not making any progress because you're not thinking and playing together as a team. Teamwork can overcome mechanical skill gap in these kinds of games. You can out game sense a mechanically superior team. So this is something that I see even like motherfuckers like Necros and J3 do. Everyone at all ranks will do a really bad habit that just exists throughout the entire thing. That wasn't a good ult usage. The idea of doing it in this general position is fine, but with the Hela that low and the fact that no one else sees you, go ahead and clean her up with your left click or at least another ability. There's no reason to pop ult primarily dead center on a character this low. Like, you could have waited one more second for your dash cooldown to come and then just dash through her. Or just maybe if your right click was available or something, or just again, just like sprinkle her with like your left click. She was what, maybe like 10 health? And then you could have, and then your dash could have came online because see, it's 1 at this point. So 1 came back. Then you could have dashed back over to where the more cluster of the team was, and you could have been attacking 3 people. You could have got way more value out of that ult. But you primarily position the ult on a character, a person who was like 1 that did not need to be ulted at all. So that was a bad ult. There's something in my right eye, my left eye.
These spiders are cute, but only 60 seconds left.
Farewell.
Okay. Team was able to push through it.
You made me believe in magic, Steven.
Oh, the hell is dumb. The hell is throwing. Okay, so I hope everyone. I hope everyone understands why that Hela ult is bad. I just want to make sure it's clear. Everyone in the chat understands why that Hela ult is super bad, right? I just want to make sure like everyone is on a certain base level of understanding of this game. Thumbs up for everyone. Confirmation. Marth. Whoever is in chat. I just want to make sure it is clear. If you are brand spanking new to competitive games or like hero shooters, objective-based games like this game in general, the reason why this Hela ult is one of the worst type of ults you could possibly do is because the red team, Chaos' team, has clearly rolled his team. He is a remnant of the past, stuck in the back, bleeding the fuck out. Part of his spine coming out of his back. Okay, look at his health. He's not on point. They're like 2 seconds away from capping the point anyways, and he's ulting, and Hela's ult doesn't contest the point in the first place. So he wasn't contesting the ult in the first place, and then what he decided to hit doesn't contest the ult, and then he's still completely cut off from his team. They're capping the point right here. Now that they capped the point, the door came down. That means that the spawn room has moved to the point that they just capped. So these kills that these kills that the Hela just got were useless because he spawns and he's right here where Hela just killed him. That ult did nothing. What that Hela should have done was either never reveal herself and try to get back to her team, or just run into the team and die so she could get with her team quicker. There are cases where you want to die intentionally so you don't get hard stagger from the rest of your team, because that kills the clock down. You want to group up as quickly as possible. There is strategic dying. That's a probably like mid-level skill I'd say that you develop. Maybe mid-high. Your gooning will be the end of your raid. Y'all pray for Chaos.
Step aside.
Nothing wrong with him. He's just horny, you know.
Armed and dangerous.
would be proud. What a difference.
I think the doctor needs a doctor.
Uh-uh.
Now shall be undone.
I see what you were going for there. I see what you want to do. But a lesser cool thing that would have been the proper thing to do, that would have like kept you safe and still allowed you to apply pressure. You don't really know where the enemy team is. You just got back from spawn. There's someone over there you can clean up with your team. You don't really know where the current status of the fight to the left is. You don't really have information on that. As Psylocke, a character with mobility, which is should do because you're turning this corner and you currently have a Wolverine that's low. You don't know the status of what's going on around the corner. You should go to the high ground. So that way, if you turn around and you're like, oh shit, there's three of them. There's three of them and you're on the high ground, so you're in a safer spot. Instead of three of them on the high ground and you're right there on ground level with them. That would have been a safer engage. You kind of do it there, but you implement it late. So you make it less effective. Because now they can like be expecting that for one, but two, you also don't hold the high ground. You go down on them. Your healers bailed you out there. Oh wait, no, you still died anyways. Yeah, so where you messed up was, I think you were aware that you had a dash, but you like really weren't minding your positioning. I think you're way too focused on like, you know, trying to aim and get your value while you're in the back line, that you weren't paying attention to the fact that you're way too far away for your dash to actually save you from that dive. So it's like your dive was completely ineffective because you didn't put enough thought into how you're going to get out. Too focused on the kill.
I'm back. Mind your mind.
Kind of got to plan a route. And if this helps anyone, if there's any like skateboarders, rollerbladers, scooters, whatever, you know, BMX guys, you know, if you guys have ever done a route, it's kind of exactly like that. If that helps kind of contextualize things, you kind of have to plan how you want to flow one trick into another. So you actually you think about what you're gonna do and how you do it before you actually execute it. You don't think about the trick first. You know, it's not just like, oh, me do trick, and then I'll see what I do when I get there. Like, you shouldn't play like that. Don't be like, I'm gonna just do this and whatever happens happens. Don't ever play like that. Don't ever just be like, I'm a diver, so I'm going to dive, so here I dive. Like, always think how you can do your role and also live at the same time. Living, again, is going to be the most important thing that separates a good player from a bad player. Is how much they die.
What a difference.
Yeah, personally, I would like get the fuck away from that squirrel girl, yeah. Because she could hide in that little cave and kind of narrow the amount of space she had to. That, yeah, you were wise to get away from her there. I would have done that a bit earlier because she could have like randomly luckily killed you, but yeah, you got out. Okay. So good job not being too thirsty there. A lot of people will main character syndrome there and see the half, you know, the half rocket and be like, oh, I'm a flanker, I'm on a flank, I see the rocket is half, time for me to carry. But Chaos also sees that this Hela is right here in between them, and the Hela does turn around and see him, and Chaos is like, nope, I'm getting the fuck out. Don't be super thirsty. The kill is not worth your life before the team fight even starts like that. You know what I mean? There'd be certain situations where like, yeah, it definitely is, but
My light cannot
just in like the poking phase, nothing has really happened yet phase, don't do that. There's no reason for that.
You stop them in their tracks.
Reed interests me, but I don't understand him yet to say I find him fun, but he does intrigue me. Sue, I think is really fun. I kind of want her to be my support main low-key, but you know, because she's a new character, I'm not gonna be able to practice either of them for weeks. So, you know, because that's just how it goes. Yeah, then people just say, oh, if you want to practice, just go to the deathmatch mode. It's like, bro, I want to practice the game as the character, you know, the actual game.
My hunt continues.
Yeah, that's because you get to play games all day, motherfucker. You look so fucking jealous, dude.
Keep fighting until we have a winner.
At least the pay raise is being negotiated for me, so that'll make me tolerate it a bit more. Good job prioritizing the beacon there. The Thing and Human Torch are coming in the second half of the season. Oh, I already made this portal. You want to know his name? Good angle. Chaos is taken here.
The current score is 0-2.
Wait.
2.
Wait.
Time to switch things up, including which side you're on.
Yeah, I was like, wait, y'all were winning, weren't y'all?
Need some ranged firepower.
Oh no, y'all died. I'm tripping. I thought y'all had the event. What happened?
The score is 0-2.
Oh, you see, I think you were the only one alive, but then again, your teammates did die a little fast. It felt like.
You'll need a top-notch team to win this.
I can't even fully fault you there because I had to go back and see what happened because I didn't even realize C4. I didn't even realize that the team wasn't there. I was like, wait, what happened to these boys?
Weapons are tools, and I'm the master craftsman.
Okay, so this is round 2.
30 seconds before you attack. Get
Chaos going Sue. Oh, he's trying to commit the Sue. That's what he's trying to do.
You
Bars.
do have a plan to stop Victor, don't you, darling?
You still
And this is comp? You're crazy.
not yet.
Playing a day 1 character in comp. Who do you think you are?
Also be
Who do you think you are playing a day 1 character in comp?
Hi, my dear. As would I.
Come on, man. You're throwing.
Battle starts in 5,
You're throwing.
4, 3, 2, 1.
You know why.
All you need to do is capture the mission area. Got it?
You're throwing, man. Like, I'm a very confident player, and even I don't do that. Like, I make sure I ego check myself, and I'm pretty confident in my play. I'd be like, nah, I'm not about to just jump this character into rank until I do it like on an alt and I rank him up to learn it, or I just play him for like at least a week.
I don't like to look at that.
You know, like I don't, nah. Yeah, so that was a lost cause. That's kind of like just, and this is why you don't play, because here's another thing that people don't realize or catch. Sometimes when you're playing a character that you're weaker on, your game sense is also weaker. Maybe you wouldn't have done this on a healer that you may regularly play, but either way, I want to point this out. This is a situation where you completely abandon your teammate.
Systems restart.
There is a Penny, a Strange, and a Punisher in the turret on the point. Your Penny is already halfway low because she's yellow. There's 3 motherfuckers in front of her, including a turret. And there's a shield for said turret. Look at her health. There is no point for you to swing out here, expose yourself, and try to heal this Penny. You are not saving this Penny. This Penny is beyond fucked. And you should have known better than to do this, and especially to swing that far out. No. That is a situation where, as a support, you have to think about the context of the situation and know when your tank is being an idiot and not be an idiot with them. You have to learn how to leave your teammates for dead sometimes. I know you'll be scared that they may flame you, but this is why you practice and you practice and you practice and you look up YouTube videos and you watch high ranked players. This is why you apply this stuff, so you don't really have to deal with this. You won't have to worry about people thinking you're throwing, because when things happen, they have something to say. You know why you did that. You did that intentionally. You can explain, bro, you're on point with 3 people and the rest of our team was behind us. You had no support and you were already low. You should have backed up. You're Penny. You have F. F back out to the side room. And maybe I could have saved you because you'd have some more cover in there. But you literally ran out in front of the Avengers that just came out of the fucking portal. This motherfucker on a gun. And you sitting there with like a 5th of your health. Looking like, look at Penny. Like, what the fuck you think you're doing? Like, who do you think you flexing on? You're going to die. Like, are you fucking dumb? Like, this many players actually that is actually one of the worst examples of how not to take. Bro, like, sometimes people are just so bad. That shit is funny, dude. Like, why are you here? Why are you there? Are you not looking at your health bar? Guys, make sure you're also tracking your health bar. Yes, I know I've said there's a lot of things you need to track. That's just how the game works, okay? There's things you gotta track everything. Like, oh shit, that shit is killing me, dude. Dude really think if he keeps flexing, like, I can't die, I'm just keep flexing all these hoes, like people just don't be thinking, man. Yeah, so like, this is why it's bad to be a heal bot. This is why it's bad. And you could be like, oh, I have so-and-so healing, but like you were doing healing like that. Like, that was useless healing. That was an unnecessary death. And both you and the Penny just gave the enemy team more ult charge. Congratulations. Y'all both should have got the fuck out. Leave that Penny to die.
Get that vehicle to its destination.
Yeah, one person is better dying than 2. Exactly.
Psionic burst.
You gotta think about the greater good. Like, sometimes you gotta be a little ruthless. Like, that dude is dumb. I can't save him. He's going to die. I'm not dying with him. Because you can come back from a 5v6, especially if you have ults on the line, but it's much harder to come back from a 4v6. Much harder. Oh yeah, that's something I wanted to point out earlier as well. This is probably another like top 3 thing, so keep this in mind. What was the other top 3 things I said? The things that were in the top 3? Oh yeah, like always identifying where everyone is, where opponents are. Shit, what was the other one? Oh, watching the kill feed. This will probably be the 3rd one. Use your cooldowns with purpose. You should never do your cooldown just for the sake of, oh, I have it and there's things happening, I'ma hit my button. Like don't do that. You'll see, like, watch your average Cloak and Dagger. I see them all the time. The match starts, they get to the point, their tanks take like a little bit of chip damage, and then Daggers always immediately use the healing veil, which was a 15-second cooldown move. And it's like, bro, your tank took like 50 damage, 75 damage. Like, they're fine. Don't use your cooldowns on healthy targets like that. Don't do that. You save that for instances where you need a healing boost, because then if that tank does start taking more burst damage, oh well, you already blew your cooldown that can increase the healing you could do to them. that could ultimately save him. But because you wasted your cooldown when he was at 90% health, now you guys end up losing that team fight entirely. I haven't paid attention to his cooldown usage, but Jesse saying that did remind me to point that out. So pay attention to your cooldowns, guys. Use your cooldowns with purpose. If it is a burst thing, maybe you should save a burst thing for when that burst will be impactful, right? If it's an offensive burst like Storm's right click, notice most Storms will use her right click when a target is low because it's hit scan and it's a burst. If someone is low and you right click them, they're not going to heal through it. It's a burst, right? It's immediate. You don't want to like, oh, it's a full 275 HP target and right click and then it gets healed up and then it's like, well, then your right click was just useless, right? Use your abilities when it makes sense to. Think about your use of your abilities. Don't just be like, it's an ally. This is an ally move. Me do. Like, think about, okay, this is a shield. What type of shield is it? A stationary shield. Okay, if it's a stationary shield, would a stationary shield be useful in this current situation? Is the fight moving? Are we being ran up on, right? You have to think about things like that. Like if your team is clearly being pushed back, there's no point of you doing that. You know what I mean? Can Sue canonically heal? I don't know for sure. I would assume yes.
No worries. I got your back.
Unleash the Vishanti's power.
What am I? Invisible?
I could have swore one for like sub powers was some type of like, I don't know, she kind of like sensu beam people type of effect.
I won't disappear so easily.
Jesse, this is a platform and a voice for a black voice. Okay, this is for black voices right now, Jesse. And it would be just like a white man.
It's clear I'm still new here.
No, I got you. Hold on.
You know what to do, fighters? Vehicle reached a checkpoint. Keep up the momentum. Fire mode. Disappear. These fighters are cute, but deadly.
What am I? Invisible? No worries. I got your back.
Wait. What is Groot's ult line in Japanese again? And let me run this back because I haven't watched since about here. Oh wait, hold on. I cannot hear you right now. You are not coming out the right place. Why the fuck are you coming through that? All right, say something.
You dirty as fuck for saying that.
Jesus Christ. All right, can y'all hear him? Say
Why
something.
you gotta do me like that, dog?
Okay, yeah. What do you mean?
You gotta pull that race card when your ass is constantly saying how black I am and begging me to call you the N-word.
This is true. This is true. Yo, look at Chaos though. Oh wow. Man got laid the fuck out.
Chaos
funny.
every time he sees Sue Storm.
Oh my god.
All right, I gotta say something though.
Clear.
Yeah.
I know this is a day one character, but Grandmaster support main. Let's be real. I'm gonna know a thing or two here, so pay the fuck attention. When I'm telling Chaos in chat, Sue's 2 buttons, the push or pull, and then the gravity well, Those are positioning tools. Those are ways to control your enemy's position. So if you get dived by a magic, you can put your gravity well down, and as soon as she's about to come out of it, you push her back into it. Or if a team fight's happening and the enemy is about to get away from an ultimate, you put that gravity well down, you pull them back into it. That's how you use that shit. Do not just spam that shit to try to do damage. You're not a damage dealer. Also, your positioning with Sue is so important because the way that her left click works is you're going to do healing and damage through enemies and allies, and then it's going to bounce back. So you want to line up as much as you can, and then use your double jump to get out of jail.
Yeah, it's actually
That's
very
your escape tool.
how you want to shoot with her.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So you want to line it up, do as much healing and damage as you can, and then get out of jail with your jump, with your invisibility, not with anything else. If you got to push them away, that's fine. But otherwise, that stuff is used to control your enemy's position, which is one of the most important things in a game like this.
Yeah,
Also,
I see a lot of people just using it as like a Kamehameha to do damage.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like-
Because it barely does any damage. Yeah, I mean, to be fair, okay, let me take that back.
He's like
The push and
40.
pull barely does any damage.
Yeah.
The gravity well actually does a shit ton of damage, which is why it's good to put down if you get flanked. If you're getting jumped in the back, throw that down on yourself, jump away from it, and then push them back into it while you're spamming left click. That's how you 1v1 with this character. But get out of jail with your jump, position correctly. Oh, and with your shield, if you are leaving it up when it's not healing anybody or providing any shield, you are throwing. It's got 300 health, and it puts it on a cooldown if it loses all of its health. You either move it to somebody else or take it down by pressing F or whatever the fuck it is on a controller.
Oh, I didn't know you could move it. I haven't really been able to play with her.
You throw it up. You wait for it to do its healing if you need to. I like to throw it into on a tank if they're diving in, or if you've got a Punisher, it's good to put in front of the turret. It's good if people are in a grouped area, throw it up. If you're next to someone and you need heals, or if you're low health, I will run next to somebody, throw my shield down on them so I can stand next to it and heal.
Mm-hmm.
You want to use it as a circular healing, not as a shield. It is barely useful as a shield because it's 300 health.
More like just a central little healing spot or a small
Correct.
little like healing pocket.
I'm still needed here.
Exactly. And I mean, if people can use it for positioning too, it'll save somebody for a
For a
second.
brief second, yeah.
Right. So that's how you want to use it, as a
Vehicle reached
healing bot that you can move around, and then in that moment it might save somebody. Also for strange ults, if you see a strange going in ultin, just throw it down in front of somebody because it will block it.
I'm never a big fan of using ults this close to spawn.
I got your back.
I get the general reason why you did that, but there's a very incredibly low chance that any value that would have came in that situation would have been worth using your ult there.
Thought you wouldn't see me again?
Like, even if you guys were able to wipe them right there, you killed them right outside their spawn. They come back real quick. The people you lost would be a higher value than the people that they lost.
I just got whiplash. What is this swab?
You'll see that Wolverine just in the scope. That was funny as fuck. They're about to say street on to the left. That's the one to get the flanks and the high grounds.
We're just giving up here.
See, in that situation, that's a good example of target prioritization. Yes, Rocket is the healer, but in that situation where they don't even notice that you're there, just go ahead and go for the Punisher, because Rocket is going to be a 10 times harder target to kill in that situation. and because you have the positional advantage and they don't know you're there, you could potentially kill that Punisher before the Rocket's able to heal him in time. Rocket doesn't really burst heal. So even if he does react and start healing him, Widow does enough damage at that range where a follow-up shot would be able to tear through any damage anyways. I would have just tried to shoot at Punisher.
Both these teams are single healing with the worst single healers possible.
See, there it was fine that you shot him because the Punisher was off screen in that moment. Yeah, so like good job there. But the first time you should have went for the Punisher. Did that portal just block that shot? Am I tripping?
I can't believe the only shots he's hitting are on a Rocket Raccoon.
That makes no sense.
By the eye of Agamotto!
Penny is a good target for Widow. Widow can actually like just solo Penny through healing, but that's only if you can hit the headshots consistently. But yeah, Penny is generally a good target for Widow. Any like just big easy hitbox tank that doesn't have a shield. So same goes for like Groot. If you have like a high ground where walls aren't gonna block your line of sight from his head, him and Penny really good targets. Hulk, good target.
Big chance! Plasma burst! Only 60 seconds left.
That ult there,
60 seconds left.
like it's very clear that the enemy team is like retreating. They're all going back up the slope. You should have aimed to the left side, try to like shoot it over there. So they backed up into it because you're shooting it. I guess you're shooting this because you're thinking, I want to get them away from the point, but you didn't register the fact that they were already getting away from the point. So you were doubling up on a purpose that was already being met. And this ult ended up not really being that impactful.
Only 60 seconds left.
You see, it didn't really like do anything. Like they're getting the fuck out anyways. Look at this dude. Dude, Punisher players are not real. They are not real.
2 points for the talking cheese.
There's no way, dude. Is that Hella? Yeah. Honestly, I would start pushing over to the left, not left, to the right more, so I could put a little bit more pressure and keep more tabs on the people I saw to the left, but also have line of sight of the people that are fighting main as well. Luckily, your team is fine, but in that situation, while you didn't necessarily like do anything bad, like you didn't die or throw, you also really weren't in a too great of a position to support your team. I mean, you put pressure on the Hella, but you could have also done that where you could have been in position where you could have done that to pretty much all of them. You know what I mean? And you being the longest range person in that match, like you actually have the luxury of choosing your spot in those types of situations, especially with being able to jump and having the spawn door right there, and you're a character that can sprint. I actually like Widow a lot in that last point because of that reason.